I ran a 5K a couple weeks ago, and it's the same 5K I ran last year to kick off my running journey. And then I realized I've actually run consistently for a whole year. Like, that's crazy. And so I want to share today with you 3 things that I learned after my 1-year journey of running consistently. As a disclaimer, I'm just going to go based off of my own experience. Everyone's running journey is different. I figured I'd just share mine because there might be some of you who might be going through the same things that I did. But again, everyone has an individual journey, and I just want to share mine. Let's get into it. First and foremost is progress will come, but it will come very slowly. I know I mentioned this in a video I made a while ago as well, but this has never been true after my first year. When I first started running, especially not having any kind of background in any kind of intensive cardio or not playing sports in my childhood, I'm not an athlete by any means. So it took a while for my body to get used to running consistently. And that's one thing that I think I was also focused on a lot was around, can I get faster? You know, you see all these people on social media, they're running so much faster. So I started hyper-focused on, okay, I'm running consistently, but I want to make sure I get to that level. I was so worried about my pace and all that kind of stuff. And I was trying to speed up my progress. And that, unfortunately, is not true, and that's not the right way to do it. Progress will come, but it will come slowly. And the way I learned this the most was, as I mentioned last year, I did a 5K to start off my running journey. I did that 5K in 36 minutes, 40 something, I believe, which at that time I was running my hardest and my fastest I possibly could at the current stage I was at in my running journey. But I was kind of disappointed because, you see other people running sub 20s and sub 17s, whatever, and I was here struggling to get even 36 minutes flat. Fast forward that to, again, staying consistent, my half marathon was the same pace, around 11:30 per mile. Then I moved on to my full marathon, and that was, again, my pace. So my 5K pace that I was running my hardest at eventually became my half marathon pace and then also my marathon pace. And that doesn't happen necessarily, right? A lot of people will, your 5K pace is maybe 2 minutes faster than your absolute marathon pace. But for me, as I stayed consistent, that just progressed. But again, it took between that 5K to my marathon, it took about 7 to 8 months in length of being consistent to see that progress happen. It just did not happen overnight. So again, take your time. Progress will come. It will come slow, and just stay consistent with it, and you'll see the results eventually. And second lesson I learned was race days may not be your best days. This was a very hard and humbling experience both at the same time. When I had done my training, I was I was on plan, I was on track according to the training plan that I was using, which was through Runner. And it said, you're going to knock it out. You should be able to get your marathon in this amount of time, half marathon at this. And if you guys, again, have followed my journey, you just saw that I started from a 5K, then did a 10, then half, and a marathon just to kind of, eventually get to the marathon after 1 year before I turned 40, which I did. One thing I learned was race days were never actually my best days. I was about 5 minutes slower in my 5K versus the predicted time that Runner had for me. I was about 10 minutes slower in my 10K versus the predicted time. I was a full half hour slower in my half marathon. And then I was also an hour and 20 minutes slower in my actual marathon because I picked up an injury. But I was very frustrated, obviously, during the race that I was not performing at where I needed to be at, right? It's more frustrating, especially during the race, when you see that goal pass you by. Like, I'm running my 10K and I'm like, okay, I should be done, but I'm still running as I have another mile to go. Or my marathon where I'm like calling my wife and saying, hey honey, I don't think this 5 hours is going to work. I'm injured. I'm barely getting through it. I'll see you in about an hour. And I just saw that 5-hour mark pass me by. I was second to the last person to finish the marathon, and that is what it is. And it is a very humbling experience, don't get me wrong. But then after I got done, I was just so grateful and happy that I even completed those races. If you had asked me, honestly, a year before that, if I would actually complete a marathon or a half marathon, I would have said, you're crazy. I hate running. Why the heck would I even want to do a marathon? And then fast forward a year later, here I am preparing for a marathon and getting through it and finishing. And that's what the old saying goes. The race is the celebration of your trainings. And I know during my trainings, I really worked my butt off. I was consistent. I stayed true to what the training plan expected me to. I was performing at those levels. Granted, there were a couple of times where I just wasn't in it. But most of the time, I would say about 90% of my training plan runs, I was on time, I was on track. And it felt good. And so, unfortunately for me, all my race days just did not. But the good news is, obviously, this 5K I completed a couple weeks ago, I was on my pace. Honestly, I could have gone faster in my 5K a couple weeks ago, but it was just raining so hard and I did not want to get injured. This is a B race for me going into the LA Marathon in a couple months. And so I figured, you know what? Let's just not push it too hard. I know I can go faster and I for sure knew I could, but I did not want to slip and fall and hurt myself or whatever. Not at this age, not at this point in my training. So I took it slower. But again, this is where I realized, yes, my races last year did not go according to plan. Did not go according to what I thought I should finish at. But after I got done, I was just so dang excited that I actually finished that race. So for you guys out there, especially who are like me, who really focus on race day and got nervous on race day and didn't quite get your goal, it is, unfortunately, that is the humbling part of running. But to celebrate the fact that you finished the race and the fact that you trained for that specific race, that in itself is the accomplishment. And the third takeaway I had from last year was zone 2, or easy runs for that matter, do work. Yes, the same old zone 2 topic, all that stuff you guys hear about when you first start off, it is very, very true. Zone 2, or I don't even consider zone 2 honestly for me, more about easy runs is the way to get faster and get more healthy and prevent injuries. When I first started, especially through most of, I would say, the first quarter of the year that I started running, I really did not embrace zone 2. I was very frustrated by it because what I wanted to run at, and again, I was so focused on my pace that what I wanted to run at or what I think I should be running at, I was not running at that pace. And I started to notice that I would get a little bit more of a soreness here and there. Sometimes it would be like I would have a short shin, or sometimes my knees would hurt and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, it was, I was pushing myself a lot. I was getting my training plans done, but it was just always like I was kind of constantly in pain. And even though the training plan has said, okay, do easy runs, I would run those easy runs a lot faster than I needed to because I know I want to be at that pace, right? Versus I should be about a minute or two slower and just kind of slowly take it all in, recover while you're running. When I started to actually do that, which was around halfway point before my half marathon, I noticed all of those little injuries or those little things that happen to your feet just went away. I just sat there and I was like, you know what? I just feel so much better after my easy runs that like I look forward to my next hard run. And it kind of mentally prepares you because then when you see the easy run come on your calendar, you're like, okay, I can just really take a good day. Just kind of go with the flow, go with whatever feels easy, right? And this is why I changed my mindset from a zone 2 to just an easy run. Because I don't know if it's just for me, but my easy runs and the ones I truly do feel like that was easy, I could just kept on going for another 2 or 3 miles. My heart rate is a little bit higher. It's around zone 3, right? But I don't feel myself that I'm pushing that hard. I don't feel like I'm getting that drained energy-wise. I just feel good. I feel like it's light, breezy, whatever, right? And so I just stopped looking at the heart rate altogether and just going on just saying, let's just see what feels good. What feels natural, what feels easy, right? And that's when I really just embraced that easy runs were made for easy days. And there were some days where I would run a lot slower than I needed to. And there were some days where I ran faster. But again, I just went based off how I felt that day. And then when those training plan days comes or when that long run comes with tempo runs and all that kind of stuff, I'm ready for it. Because now I'm not like, oh, my ankle kind of hurts or oh, my shins hurt, whatever. None of that was there. I was ready to go for those really tough workout days. And then when it came down to race day, obviously I didn't finish where I needed to, but I just felt like, okay, I feel good enough, right? I'm not exhausted. I'm not tired. I'm not constantly aching, right? It just felt good. And so that's where I really, really enjoyed my easy runs. And I'll tell you guys a story that I had with a friend of mine who actually just also started getting into running. She was saying that, like, I noticed that on my Apple Watch that she's knocking out all these runs. I'm like, this is so cool that you're doing running. I never imagined you doing it. And I'm glad that you're doing it because this is so, running is something that I personally love a lot. And she said, yeah, running is fun, but it's just so hard and painful. And I'm like, well, are you running very, very hard? Or are you running some slow days, some easy days? And she goes, why the heck would I run slow? Like, that's just jogging. You're not really running. What's the point of running if you're going to be slow? And I was like, well, if you run slower, you're going to be able to be recovered for the next hard run you do. And she said, well, I'm not out here to run. Running's supposed to be painful, right? So you're supposed to go faster, you're supposed to go further every single time. And that's when I kind of thought, like, I can't blame her for that thought process. It's the reason why a lot of people don't get into running, is because they expect running to be painful and hard. And when you actually embrace the zone 2 or the easy runs, you realize running is still very painful and difficult and hard, but it's not as complicated as people make it seem, right? It doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be where you're completely drained after a run and you just don't want to do anything for the rest of the day. Some days, or most of the days, my easy runs were like I could just knock it out and just continue with my day and have no issues whatsoever. Now I'm not getting tired. I'm not necessarily hungry. All that kind of stuff. It just felt like a good easy day. So I don't blame my friend for thinking that, because that is how people imagine how running is. And if you're out there and you're just starting off and that's how you imagine running is, again, I don't blame you, because that's how I thought as well. But it shouldn't be. If you do the easy runs, if you do the recovery runs as intended, you will recover in time and you will not be as sore and achy, and you will actually get faster because you're staying consistent and your stamina is building. And a bonus tip, and of course you would imagine this from a shoe reviewer, running shoes do matter. And I don't mean to go out and buy this expensive shoe, this expensive Asics Mega Blast, which I have come to declare as my favorite shoe of all time. I know I rave about Super Blast shoes forever. I will go on another rant on this later in a different video, but these are by far the best shoes ever. But forget that, right? Running shoes matter. And the reason why I say that is because if you get the right shoe, you will be motivated to run. And I will also mention here, I do not mean please and go out and buy expensive running shoes. Do not have a running rotation. Just go to a store and just try on some shoes and just go with what fits you well and what fits your budget. Because there is a difference between running in some regular shoes like the Adidas Ultra Boost versus a specialized running shoe like the Asics Nova Blast and other shoes like that. You don't have to get the newest one again. You can find a lot of good deals on Amazon, or even go to some of the other sporting goods stores and get 2 or 3 previous versions, not the current version, but a couple of versions before, for like $50-$60, and they will work well. But just find a shoe that will work for you, that you need, right? I went through quite a few shoes this past year. And of course, as a shoe reviewer that I do on my channel, I obviously test out a lot of shoes. And I've come to learn that there are some shoes that just do not work for me. I have tried them. I have tried my best to like them. I've tried my best to just say, okay, you know what, maybe it's just how I'm running, whatever. And they just don't work for me. But there are some shoes like these where I just don't want to wear anything else besides them. And that is where you guys have to come in and also find that shoe. Just find a good shoe that I think you feel good in, you feel they can be consistent in. Something that you can use for all your stuff, right? Your races, your everyday runs, your easy runs, all that kind of stuff. And those are your called daily trainers, right? Find a good one. Again, don't go out there spending a lot of money, but find a good one that you really feel good about and that will help you with your running posture, and more importantly, keep you consistent with your running, that after you get done, you're not tired, your feet aren't achy. If you notice your feet are achy after a run, maybe that shoe is not for you. I went through a couple of shoes when I first started off, right? I had about 3 or 4 shoes that I had tried that just completely shattered my heels and my back leg and all that kind of stuff, right? It just hurt like crazy. And I was like, well, I guess, I don't know if it's just part of running that I need to have this kind of pain, or it's just the shoes. And then I got into a couple of shoes that actually fit me well and fit me properly and fit my running style, and all that stuff went away. Running became significantly much more easier in my feet and all that kind of stuff. So I will say here again, running shoes do matter. It doesn't matter what kind you guys get. And I have plenty of recommendations on my channel if you guys do want to see some, but just find a shoe that will work for you and it will significantly help your journey. Well, there you guys have it. 3 things and a bonus tip for my first year of running. I hope, I'm not sure how this edit will go, but I hope this was a nice and short video for you guys compared to my other rambling videos. But I just want to be out here and just share with you guys what my experience was. And this is stuff that I really did learn. And as I was reflecting back on my journey, the 3 things that I really felt like my mindset changed about running and why I was able to stay consistent. Because as I mentioned in my other videos before, I never imagined I would do a hobby like this that would be consistent for a whole year, nonstop, showing up every single week. And there's a lot of times in my past where I just kind of would do something else or lose interest in it. But it's something I really do love. And these are the 3 things that I really did love about running, and something that I had to grow into for my running journey. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you guys have any other thoughts around your running journeys. Please share them in the comments below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.